up on today's After News, Stephanie McMahon says Vince is his own biggest nemesis.
CMLL want Hangman Adam Page.
I'm going to tell you the real reason for Hook's AEW disappearance.
And we've got yet more on Rob Van Dad.
I'm Adam Wilborn.
I'm Michael Hamflett.
And this is the After News. So an interesting place to start today. Stephanie McMahon has her What's Her Story podcast. We've got our own one, the WhatCulture Wrestling podcast. It's better. But she had WWE President Nick Khan on there, and they just discussed a variety of different topics, whether or not you're born with perseverance or whether it's something that can be learned. And Stephanie talks about her dad, explaining how he survived an abusive environment as a child. And Khan agreed, saying there aren't many people who could have survived what Vince went through and create a universe like WWE. Khan continued by saying, all credit to him, I have only admiration for him. As Paul said at his Hall of Fame speech, Triple H, of course, family is complicated. We don't need to get into any of that, but in terms of business, that guy is an empire builder. Stephanie didn't really go deeper into the topic, but she did say, absolutely, he is an empire builder, and no one can take that away from him, no matter what, including himself, who is probably his biggest nemesis.
Yeah.
No continuation with as regards to what that is in relation to, but we can all kind of draw the dots together in all of this. It's a weird topic for Stephanie McMahon to talk about, for anyone heavily involved in the higher-ups of WWE to talk about Vince McMahon, because it's all just so difficult to talk about nowadays.
Yeah. Triple H saying complicated at the Hall of Fame and all that kind of thing. You know, the lawsuit is ongoing against Vince McMahon and WWE.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, of which obviously Nick Khan is a part of, and Stephanie McMahon increasingly becomes more a part of, even if it's just as like a special guest presence or whatever, and notes that WWE will be a part of her life forever and all that kind of thing. This reminded me of, to sort of lift it away from the obvious, this reminded me of the story that Paul Heyman tells, albeit quite theatrically, in the Mr. McMahon Netflix documentary, where he's on about how Vince gets in Shane McMahon's face and says, you want to take this whole thing, take it from me, and like hands him the knife or something. Yeah. It's all big gesture being made of that kind of thing, but like, yeah, that particular type of Vince McMahon, so combative that it absolutely is to a fault, including against himself.
Yeah.
If this was a different child talking about a different parent, this might not be newsworthy, but it's Stephanie McMahon and Vince McMahon, so it is. The case is the story, and it always will be until it's not. Check out Brandon Thurston and John Pollock's amazing coverage of that.
Especially with the ongoing sort of rumours about him wanting to get back into the wrestling business. There's even suggestions he might want to buy back WWE. I don't see that happening, to be perfectly honest. As much as
fight leagues and things he's interested in.
Yeah, as much as people say, oh, actually, if you behind closed doors ask certain wrestlers, they still kind of hold a candle for Vince. Mm-hmm. I just don't see it in this year, especially with the ongoing case, the Janelle Grant case, which just constantly brings up horrific stories, to be perfectly honest.
And that's why Stephanie McMahon speaks in the way she does here, because obviously there's only so much, whether they can say it or whether they're prepared to say, because they know where the conversation goes in the aftermath, and even when they try and brush it off in a long-form conversation, the reality is still laid bare there.
You can see, it's difficult enough for the higher-up wrestlers, the likes of John Cena, Bryan Danielson, people like that, who had a close relationship with Vince McMahon in the latter stage of his run within WWE, of course. But if you're a family member and you're hearing all this stuff coming out, if you weren't already aware, let's be honest, it's
all the trickier, isn't it?
Yeah.
We'll switch gears, shall we? To CMLL and Hangman Adam Page. Yes, for those that missed AEW Dynamite on Wednesday, they emanated from Arena, Mexico, and the show opened with Hangman Page cutting an entire promo in Spanish, effectively just thanking the audience for welcoming AEW for the night and showing great reverence to the company.
Nice message hidden in there as well. Not hidden, but I didn't understand until I got the translation. So.
And kind of like laying out what I guess was the mission statement for AEW running that show. Potentially, there might have been a subtext as opposed to WWE when Triple A's relationship and whatever, but nonetheless, it was a really, really lovely message, well received, and then he returned in the main event, as promised, after the match, to chase off Jon Moxley and the Death Riders with the rest of the AEW babyfaces. And per Wrestling Observer Live, CMLL was so chuffed with this, it's like, well, we'll have that all the time, please, thank you very much. Quote, this is from Alvarez, Brian Alvarez specifically. He spoke great Spanish. So good, in fact, that CMLL is begging for dates with Hangman. They want him bad. And maybe that feeling is reciprocated because Hangman Page posted on BK. Look, I got no jokes or rhododendrons for you dumbasses today. Just wanted to say it was an honour for all of us to perform in Arena Mexico last night. It felt special. Thanks. Goodbye. There is a comma between thanks and goodbye, so there's use some punctuation for a change. Yeah, this is kind of building off the really genuinely lovely sentiment around the Hangman Page promo. One of the highlights for me of a kind of semi-historic Dynamite, I would say. And yeah, CMLL desperate to get him back. It's funny, like, so many of the wrestlers wanted to work this show, and there was that sense of, what if I never get back? Like, MJF had done it once before, Mercedes Money had been there once before, but for some of them, they might have been thinking, oh, like, this is my one chance. Like Joe, it feels like, is a shoe, and they get back there one day, and you sense it won't be the last of Hanger, and they want to get him in the boots and trunks next time, rather than just cutting a promo.
That's what I was going to say, yeah. I mean, all credit to him, like you say. I mean, I think as a fan, you know, I think we all pretend to do promos in the mirror to ourselves as growing up as wrestling fans. But then when you get down to sort of brass tacks, you think, it'd be great to go out there, but what if you forget something? What if you forget what you're about to say? It's terrifying. You stood in front of thousands of people and they're just going, go on then. And that's tough enough in your own language, let alone in a different language.
It's tough enough.
In a different language. So all credit to Hangman Page for that. And yeah, I sense this feeling is mutual. Like you say, Arena Mexico, loved seeing him. People in Arena Mexico, sorry, I should say. CMLL fans loved seeing him there. I think the feeling was mutual. Like you say, having watched it, you can't imagine walking out into that arena and being like, yeah, it's just average Wednesday this for me.
Yeah.
Like, looked incredible. And yeah, I think everyone involved would love to see Hangman Page wrestle there. Having said that, I sense AEW might also be like, right, we've got slightly bigger things to deal with first and foremost, because he's fighting for the world title, our biggest show of the year, all in Texas next month. But down the road, I would not rule this one out.
Definitely not. And maybe he comes back as world champion.
Oh, now that would be a sort of nice hero's return. I really like that. And, you know, if you're a fan of AEW, but you're here in the UK, and sometimes you're like, oh, God, I wish I could watch it live, and then the only way you can do that is fly to America.
Yep.
There's no other way of doing that. Or, I suppose, you could use our good friends at NordVPN to travel digitally to America. Legally. Or, you know, watch American Netflix, or if you're in America, you can watch UK Netflix without the ads. If you want something that helps you with that, why not check out our brilliant friends at NordVPN, because they've got an amazing deal for you right now. 76% off and a $50 Amazon gift card. If you want to get your hands on that, and who wouldn't, click the link in the description.
That is nuts, isn't it?
It is a great deal. I genuinely use NordVPN. They're great.
We have to hawk all sorts of crap. This is not one of them. Like 76%. Yeah.
Not that either.
For example. 50. Like, I last night ate 2 bags of my wife's mini eggs, and you can't get them. No. You can't get those outside of Easter, can you?
Not normally.
That would have been married this long. And
Hi, Adele.
I love. Lost my train of thought now. Yeah, because you can't get them in the shops.
Did you say, you've gone and ate it all? Where's my mini eggs?
Yeah, them fucking balls. I was saving one for the weekend. Well, lucky for her, Amazon Prime had some on offer, so I bought some. I could have bought loads more with the voucher. That was all I was getting to before we went down that path.
Link in the description.
Who's it, me or you?
It's me, sorry, yeah.
That's right.
Sticking with AEW, if you're wondering, where is Hook? Is he down here? No.
Is he in this iPad? Nope.
He has not appeared on TV since his match at Double or Nothing 2025, way back in May, of course. But he was on a recent appearance on Wrestling Observer Live. Rarity to hear him talking.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see this. And regarding his current absence, he said, yeah, I'll be back in AEW soon. I'm recovering from a concussion, for those who don't know. I've been out for a while, but I should be back soon for sure. No suggestion this is linked to that time he vomited in the ring. I think that was back in April on an episode of AEW Dynamite. You said it could be. But then again, you would assume if that had been a concussion, which I think Meltzer at the time reported is not the case, he probably wouldn't have worked Double or Nothing. But Regardless, wrestlers, concussions, we all know the history there, so safety first, get well soon to Hook.
Too right, yeah. You don't mess around with head injuries. It's better business than it used to be in that regard. So yeah, get well soon to Hook. Hope to see him back soon. And if it was, hopefully, not related to the concussion, maybe the vomiting was just from poorly tummy, eating too many mini eggs.
Indeed, yes.
I overdid it.
Speaking of AEW, keep your eyes peeled on social media today, particularly mine, at Adam Wilborn, for a elite announcement coming your way. If I speak anymore, I'm in big trouble.
I thought you were going to line up one of your famed hit tweets there. I thought you had one of
all hits, mate.
Sorry, yeah, how dare I?
Also, if you haven't checked out the Dynamite Review podcast on the podcast channel, new character debuted, new tag team sort of amalgamated into one person that is taking the world by storm.
Yeah. Speaking of insane ideas, Rob Van Dam's having twins.
What?
Yeah, this is a nice story to end the week on.
It is lovely, this.
But yes, Rob Van Dad, as we christened him last week, announced, along with partner Katie Forbes, that they're going to be expecting a baby. It was a really lovely announcement, actually, because he was talking quite candidly about suffering the loss of Sabu and how it's like, it was such a big part of his life. And then he was like, but the universe works in funny ways. And I was just thinking about balancing out. I've lost somebody that means so much to me, but I've gained somebody. We're expecting a baby. Really, really nice
lovely
news
stuff
for the couple. And this was all through, I should point out, his own channel is one of a kind. Or I guess through that now be two of a kind. Is that anything? I mean, it's up to you to decide, Rob. You've had two of them, mate. Yes, they did a second announcement video where they had their scan pictures and everything, and they're having twins.
Wow.
It's lovely, that, isn't it? It's two kids, mate.
It's quite a handful.
Yes.
I've got one, and that is...
2 hands full. A kid in each.
Yeah.
However, though, imagine when they're like a little bit older. Yeah, like they can both do both thumbs on both sides.
That is class.
We're having twins. I don't know, whatever. It's just really, really nice. And we thought, because it ended last week's news on a bit of a high, we can send you into the weekend. Like, what are they going to announce next week? Like, Rob Van Dam and Katie Forbes go shopping for a stroller or something like that. We'll do, like, our weekly Rob Van Dad report.
Yeah.
Not just because we need to stretch them over 2 videos. Don't even say that. It's a stupid thing to say. Stop accusing us of that. Who would even think of that? It's nice to talk about, isn't it? It's nice to see the other stuff you have to report. So
it's a lovely, exactly. We have such a roller coaster of a ride here on the news each week. It is nice to end the week with some lovely news. And twins. Best of luck with it.
Somebody told me once that if you have twins, then you kind of absolutely S yourself at the beginning, but then you get so used to it that you kind of like you normalise it. And it's
tag team.
Well, that's it. Like, you rather than having like one kid and then a second kid comes along and it's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I feel like I'm 10 years into a spiral and nervous breakdown that's never going to end. Just what people have told me. Like, if you have them both together at the same time, totally different narrative. So maybe it would be an absolute doddle for you. Good luck.
Good luck, yeah. Really nice news. Lovely to end the week on. Let us know your thoughts on that and everything we've discussed in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and for more serious news reporting, check out this morning's news right here. We'll see you soon.
Someone's trying to toast it.
Bye.